Dallas Mavericks news and rumors coming your way from us here at Chat Sports. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. with you. Look, Dallas Mavericks playing some good basketball right now. And Chase, I wanted to talk a little bit about Spencer Dinwiddie and his early impact and get some of your thoughts as well because, you know, when the Mavericks traded Kristaps Porzingis, it was kind of one of those bittersweet deals. The bitter part is you realize the KP thing didn't work out. The sweet part is getting out of KP's contract and seeing what a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans could do. And Dinwiddie, Chase, back in that six-man role, which is when he was at his best back in his Brooklyn days, he's been kind of that flamethrower, really spark plug off the bench. I've been really impressed with what we've seen so far.
You can call it bittersweet all you want. It was sweet for me from a basketball standpoint, getting rid of Kristaps Porzingis and that awful contract. Look, when he's on the floor, he's a solid player. But since he became a Dallas Maverick and coming off that torn ACL with the New York Knicks, he has not been able to consistently stay available and on the court. And for Luka Doncic, what a year he's having. Month of February, 35 points per game, 45% from the floor, 40+% from three, basically averaging a triple-double the entire month of February.
Incredible.
As he was named February Player of the Month. But what did he need, Harrison? He needed more shooting. He needed more playmaking. And you get rid of Kristaps Porzingis and that contract, and you bring in a player like Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans, who's been solid, but really the big takeaway is what Dinwiddie has been able to do. The game the other night against the Golden State Warriors at the Chase Center, I thought he was fantastic. And in that six-man role, I think that is what suits him best. He's able to feel comfortable there. For whatever reason, he's really able to just flourish on the offensive end. And if he comes in off the bench and on some nights he goes on a heater, that's really an added boost to this Dallas Mavericks offense, which is a luxury to have because defensively, they've been great, and Jason Kidd deserves Coach of the Year props for that.
Yeah, look, I think the Mavs have brought Dinwiddie in here, and they've said, look, you're going to come off the bench, and you can kind of just run the show for the second unit. And I think that's when he's at his best, when he's just a free-flowing point guard. I love what I've seen from him. He's an absolute menace attacking the basket. He really gets downhill well. And what I like about him, too, he's not afraid to use his left-hand dribble. A lot of players I've noticed have been guarding him hard on the right. He'll just blow past you on the left side and get to the basket and either score or dish if bigs collapse on him. He's really confident. These are three things I've really noticed from Dinwiddie in just a handful of games here with Dallas. Downhill attacker, like I mentioned. He's not scared to get into the paint and finish around the rim. Good floor general, and this is something he's always been good at. Low turnover rate, Chase. He does not turn the ball over, and that's kind of a nice change of pace for the second unit because if there's one thing that you have to live with Luka, at times the turnovers can pile up. Yeah. Because he's such an excellent passer that sometimes he'll just force the issue and he'll just throw one away. Dinwiddie, more of that under control point guard type, and then he's just very confident. This does not look like a guy who was only shooting 37% from the field this year. He's shot close to 50% with Dallas. He's been tremendous. I have really enjoyed what I've seen from him so far in Dallas.
Yeah, and the addition of Spencer Dinwiddie has helped make up for the subtraction of Tim Hardaway Jr. THJ is a guy who gives you floor spacing, is a very good three-point shooter when his offensive game is humming. And without him, I think you and I both, and Coop, worried about how the Mavericks were going to manage offensively without that scoring output.
Yep.
But Spencer Dinwiddie has been able to make up for it with a little bit more playmaking because I think you can rely on him to run point. He can play two guard, and he can put the ball on the floor a little bit more than Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah, and I wonder, long term, if he plays like this the rest of the year, do you maybe shop a guy like Hardaway in the offseason and trade him for a different piece?
Playing well without him now.
I think it's possible, only because Dinwiddie, he can be that six-man point guard type. Hardaway's not going to be your point guard off the bench. But
shooting's valued.
Yes.
And that's what Tim Hardaway Jr. does well. And if you're the Mavericks, you move on from his salary. And I think another team, because they value shooting, will take on that contract.
And maybe you bring in a big in here because now that's probably an area you could use another body. What do you guys think so far? How would you grade Dinwiddie, A, B, C, D, or F? Like an A-, man. He's been pretty damn good, especially in the role that they've asked him to play. Let's talk about the Nikola Jokic pipe dream. This is kind of, classic internet rumors chase around the All-Star break. Oh, Luka and Jokic, they're hanging out. They're joking with one another. Jokic is a free agent after next year. Maybe he comes to Dallas.
It's so cute. They're throwing balls at one another at the All-Star game.
It's the Balkan boys.
I don't know if that was like a Trump impersonation or what I was doing there. South Park?
Balkan boys up in at the All-Star game. But, this is classic, like, fans, right? Like, oh, man, let's bring Jokic to Dallas. And, hey, I'm all for it. I think it would be fun as hell. As of now, still set to be a free agent after next year, but a report did come out on Thursday that he is expected to sign the supermax contract this offseason as an extension before the final year of his current contract. I think it's like 5 years, 200 whatever million. It's a ton of money. But obviously, just hypothetically speaking, you team him up with Luka in Dallas, I mean, that would obviously be incredible. We know what type of player Jokic is at 25, 14, and 8, leading that Nuggets team. But it appears that whatever small percentage chance there was, that number's even dwindling further as he is expected to stay in Denver. But it'd be electric, there's no doubt. And until he signs that extension, this is kind of like the Giannis territory for me when there's all that chatter of, well, until Giannis re-ups with Milwaukee, he's been connected to the Mavs since the draft. They're going to be in play for him. So until Jokic does sign that extension, these rumors will circulate. But I think we can pump the brakes a little bit right now because it looks like he is probably going to remain in Denver for the long haul.
My man, can you imagine the passes that we would see from the Joker and Luka, two of the most gifted players of all time? Can you imagine the passing that we'd see from those guys?
I don't think it's hyperbolic to say Jokic is the best passing big we've ever seen.
I think so, yeah.
I mean,
high post, low post, around the three-point arc.
He can handle.
No-look passes. He can handle. He can hit threes.
He curves
fadeaways.
Passes.
Yeah. He's got cutter movement on his passes.
Yeah, it's like Mariano Rivera.
And Luka
out of the
in the
high
back of his head as well.
It's unbelievable. We'll monitor this, but doesn't look super likely. If you want a Luka jersey, that is likely impossible. If you go to the link below, chatsports.com/Luka jersey. We got tons of different styles and brands available, some of the different jersey threads as well. Go check them out, not just the ones on the screen. That link will take you to a page at Fanatics that has a ton of Luka jerseys available. Chatsports.com/Luka jersey. Pick up a number 77 Mavericks jersey today. Got the Jordan brand as well. That's a sweet looking one. Link will be in the comments and in the description of this video. Let's get you guys up on the MVP race across the NBA. Chase, it's getting spicy, man. I'm really liking the level of play we're seeing from some of these guys. And by the way, we're going to focus on 5 players. There's a few others like the Luka Doncic's of the world who just won Western Conference Player of the Month that could make a push as well. But what do you think about this race? And let's break down some of these guys.
You know, I'm not factoring in recency bias here. I just think this is one of the best and closest NBA MVP races that we've seen in a little while. By the way, Luka Doncic, month of February, 35 points per game, 41% from 3, and about 45% from the field.
10 rebounds, 8 assists.
So he deserves to be in this conversation as well. And Jason Kidd deserves to be getting some NBA Head Coach of the Year buzz. And if he continues to play like that, Mavs continue to win games, Luka can be among these 5 players. But right now, Joel Embiid is the leader. Nikola Jokic is right behind him at 3-1 odds. Giannis is sneakily having a fantastic year, right on par with his MVP prior seasons. And then Ja Morant, DeMar DeRozan have really climbed up the rankings the last couple of weeks. Last week we were saying they're not getting enough buzz. Now they finally are getting that respect because Ja and DeRozan, you take them away from their respective teams, they're not good basketball teams.
Yeah, DeRozan just won Player of the Month in the East as well. And a quick note on Giannis, by the way. He currently is on pace to have the highest player efficiency rating in NBA history.
It's crazy.
So, and he's not even the favorite right now. That's how good these guys are playing. We'll start with Embiid, the favorite right now. Just keeping this team afloat. And what did we say all years? Stay 500 until the All-Star break? Well, they were like 10, 11 games above. That's how good he was playing. Now you factor in Harden, what he's been able to do in that 2-man game. If Embiid stays healthy, going to be tough for him not to win it.
Yeah, and he's been actually better with James Harden, which can come as a surprise to some people because you're expecting Joel Embiid to maybe get less shot opportunities. He's actually gone to the free throw line more with James Harden, and his points per game is more as well. I think when you talk about Joel Embiid winning the NBA MVP, you think about all of the distractions that happen with the Ben Simmons situation. Ben Simmons is a second-team All-Pro. He's a first-team All-Defender. To not have him all year and for the Sixers at the All-Star break to be as good as they were, really, really impressive in a very good Eastern Conference. What Embiid does offensively, defensively, shooting with his array of moves and skills on the offensive end, he's just been masterful. And last year, he finished runner-up to the Joker in NBA MVP. Right now, he has the edge. Let's hope he can stay healthy.
And the Joker's been on a tear recently as well. He continues to improve as a rebounder specifically. I mean, 14 boards per game this year. He had a stat line recently, Chase, where he had 8 points, but he had like 18 assists and like 16 rebounds or something like that. I mean, sometimes he's like, I don't feel like scoring tonight. I'll just drop 20 dimes on you. For a 7-footer, we've never seen it. There's a reason he won it last year. I thought it was garbage when Nick Wright said it was the worst MVP in the last 35
Historical
years.
Season.
He does things for his size we've literally never seen.
Yeah.
So
that pass the other night, dude?
Oh, my God. He's standing
had,
like this in the
it.
post, like the high post on the right wing, and he throws like a two-seam, two-handed pass over a 6'8" guy in the corner. Of course, the three was missed, but it's one of the greatest passes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's elite, and he's right there in the mix, as is Giannis. I just mentioned, Chase, the player efficiency rating, and, I mean, not surprising, right? When you're averaging 30, 11, and 6, your PER is going to be very high.
And it's funny because I think people are overshadowing Giannis somehow because of the other masterful performances that we've seen in the NBA, maybe because he's coming off a season in which the Bucks won the NBA championship and the NBA Finals MVP for Giannis, and people have Giannis fatigue. I'm not sure, but this statistically has been one of the best years of his career. Now, maybe he's not getting that MVP love because the Bucks aren't a 1 or 2 seed in the Eastern Conference right now as of this recording, but Giannis has been absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And look, I think the people are sleeping on the Bucks in general. I mean, they won the freaking title last year, and people aren't even considering them as a potential favorite. Ja Morant, he's kind of NBA Twitter these days, Chase, Instagram, because of the highlight reels. And, you know, I've seen a lot of takes, some saying, you know, we've seen this before. I think Colin Cowherd said, this is Russell Westbrook. Like 5 years from now, we'll just be talking about,
D-Rose.
you know, is he the same guy? I don't view it that way, man. I think Ja Morant, sure, he's got that explosiveness to his game, but I don't see why there's any reason why this guy can't be a MVP type of player and a winning player for a very, very long time. The shot needs to continue to improve, but something he has that a guy like Russ doesn't have is I think his leadership and intangibles are off the charts. I think guys gravitate toward him. You saw the other night when he dropped 52, all his teammates are running and jumping to him at the end of that game, like, yo, that was badass, that type of thing. Like, Ja Morant is a leader, Chase. He's a great player. He's also only in year 3. Like, he is a very young player.
Grind City's been turning up at FedEx Forum.
It's going to be lit in the playoffs.
We've talked about this before, but, like, Ja, for me, is really one of one. He's a combination of 3 players. Kyrie Irving and his finishing ability around the rim. He has a little bit of Derrick Rose in him from an athletic standpoint, and then the same can be said for Russell Westbrook, but I think he's a better shooter than the latter two. Such a bright potential. Does he play with reckless abandon to a certain degree? Yes. Do you worry about him being as springy later on in his career, and can he be as effective? We'll see, but right now, in my opinion, my eyes, he's the most exciting player in the NBA.
Better decision maker than Russell Westbrook.
Yes, no question. Doesn't play that maddening style of basketball.
DeMar DeRozan, I mean, look, if you want to call it boring, if 28 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on 52%, mostly in the mid-range is boring, and give me boring, because what this guy has done for Chicago this year, Chase, this team wasn't a playoff team a year ago. And they might win the East in the regular season. And by the way, that's with Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball missing significant time, Patrick Williams being out all year, and Zach LaVine's not 100%. And the Bulls have come out and said he's not going to be 100%. Like, he probably needs a procedure after the season. So DeMar DeRozan is carrying the load in Chicago, and they're probably going to win 55 games out of an 82-game season, and they're going to have a chance in the playoffs. So what he's done for that team, by the way, in his early 30s, I mean, many people thought his best seasons were behind him. I mean, how many articles, Bleacher Report, all these places, worst contract of the offseason?
Well, yeah, $84 million I think it was during NBA free agency. That's a lot, but Like, he has literally defied the odds. Nobody has had a career season this late in their career than DeMar DeRozan.
Not only was it a good contract, he's outperformed it.
Yeah,
That's how good he's been. So it's a fun race. It's exciting. I'm fascinated to see how it all plays out, as I'm sure all of you are as well. Who is the MVP this year? At least right now. This can certainly change as it's that close. Let us know. Chase and I will be reading your comments on this video.